We're Hassani and Danielle Pettiford, and we're a real couple with real problems who almost called it quits.
I was very frustrated. I became very disconnected, very jaded and cold.
We have 4 children, going on 20 years of marriage, and we practice what we preach.
Our mission, to change the way couples relate to one another and teach them the skills needed to improve the quality of their relationships. This is the Couples Academy Show.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Couples Academy Show. My name is Hassani.
I'm Danielle.
And we are the Couples Academy Show, coming to you every single morning. This is the place where people all over the world, all 6 continents of the world, engage in some dialogue about life, love, and relationships. And we're happy to be a part of that conversation and to help navigate it. Many of you are coming from different cultures, different faiths, different creeds, different languages, but yet you are still here because there is a commonality that we all share, and that is a desire to be the best versions of ourselves and to have the best relationship that we can have. Now, we are continuing a conversation we started on yesterday. We were talking about the 10 big mistakes that unfaithful partners make, and we got through 4 points, so we got 6 points today, and so we're going to dive deep into that conversation. But we want to just talk with you just for a minute before we get started. So before we start, Danielle,
We'd like you to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We already know the drill, guys. When we do that, we know you won't miss a show, and that message will keep spreading. Y'all, our audience is growing across the world. It's super cool to see this happening, and when that's happening, we know marriages are being transformed. So we thank you guys for being a part of that.
I just want to say, if you don't mind, sorry, I know that you do this, but to my sister Nisha, we see you. Thanks for being a part of the show. Her and her husband Wes are powerhouse marriage enthusiasts, coaches that lead an incredible organization that have a phenomenal getaway, a marriage getaway every single year.
That we love.
And just to be a part of it is near and dear to our hearts. Listen, guys, let's just give a few quick announcements. I know it's just like, okay, Hassani, you talk about it every day, but we do it because we believe in it. And sometimes you need to be told things again and again and again and again before you actually do something. So January the 7th through the 9th, just a couple weeks left. You still have time. Somebody asked, is there a deadline? Well, when we get full, and we have a couple of slots left. So if you're considering doing it, make sure you jump in. Let's just go to a quick testimonial of someone who's experienced this amazing 3-day
Last year's
weekend. Let's see what he had to say.
Hi, my name is Daryl. I'm from South Carolina. I'm here at the Last Chance weekend with my wife. And we came here, her not knowing if she wants to move forward with the relationship or not. This was truly a last chance for me. And just coming here was a total eye-opener of things that I was lacking, things that I took for granted I wasn't doing in my life as a husband. And working with the team here really showed me everything, or put in perspective what I needed to do. And the breakthrough actually was day one. I mean, they unpacked everything and put everything in perspective and went day by day on things you need to do to get on track. And I mean, from first night, opening up, seeing us writing letters to your wife of exactly what was going on, what went on, was an eye-opener, actually, for the both of us. And we returned from that event, brand new people, leaving the old behind. And I would advise anyone, if they're struggling, don't know which way to turn, you need to give Couples Academy a call. Get in touch with those guys there. They have an excellent team that will help you and your partner on the right path.
Powerful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's always important when really you hear from men, because men want to hear from other men, and interestingly enough, women want to hear from other men because they're looking to see, man, is he going to change? Is he going to get it together? And when men come down here and their skulls are cracked open and they begin to have a completely different perspective, because as many of them say, I came down here because she needed to be fixed. And then they realized, no, it was me who needed to do the work. And so we're excited about that couple. They're part of our Moving Forward program that we're launching in January. So it's going to be good times.
And I want to say, you know, when it comes to us wanting to hear from men too, women, we do want to hear from you, because when we see that transformation in another man that came in with a certain kind of an attitude and perspective, and we see that transformation, we're like, maybe this will affect my spouse. Maybe there's hope. So it's a really powerful thing to be able to be in a room with other couples that are transitioning from one mindset to another right before your eyes. And you can say, wow, if I just follow the process, maybe something can happen for me. So I want to acknowledge some people here. Good morning. Nisha Hassani just said hello to you. We're saying hello again, family. Fedlina in Las Vegas is with us. Ralph is in Ohio. JD Pruitt is with us. Ayana Wright says, good morning from Detroit. Can you teach on when both partners betray each other? That's a great topic to come up with, which we've probably talked about a couple times, but we can talk about it again. We'll come up with a topic for that. Jules with us. Good morning, sis. Nigel is with us. Gonzalez, good morning. Takira in Atlanta is joining us. Sean is with us. Lashana is joining us. Apple Daily, that's not a bad idea. We need to have an apple a day, is joining us. Gorgeous Wells is with us. Carol is in Jamaica. All right, good to see you. Who else do we have with us? Damon Hill is with us. Damon Hill is with us from Cleveland, Ohio. Alma Lee is joining us. Good morning. And the flag is there, but I don't know what the flag is. What flag is that? Do you see it?
No,
I don't know. Tell us where is that at? Somebody knows. And then Ashanti, good morning to everybody. Let's jump into this topic.
All right. Yesterday, we began a conversation talking about the biggest mistakes that the unfaithful partner makes in a relationship, particularly when there's been an affair, because that's what made them unfaithful. And we will be delving into the 10 big mistakes that the betrayed spouse makes, but we want to continue in that conversation. And so let's just hit it, guys. Number 1, number 4, defending the affair partner. Now, this is a big thing, because typically what happens when the affair is discussed and you're in that discovery phase where you're finding out all the details, there's a tendency, and we've even seen this in movies, you've seen this on television shows, it's a common theme, that the spouse will, like let's just say they're caught in the physical act. Okay, let's just say in that scenario. The spouse attacks who? The spouse or the affair partner? The affair partner. Like they scrapping, they fighting, they punching. And I always wonder, why are you going after her when you married to him? He's the one who violated the relationship, or she's the one that betrayed you. So why is it like this attack on the other person first?
I think psychologically it makes sense, because, you know, here you are with this other man or woman, depending on who's doing the cheating, and you care about that person. And so if I'm the person being hurt and I see you making love to someone else, you care about that person. I'm going to destroy that person in my mind because that's who you care about, and I want to hurt you. So that's the first way, you know, like, I'm not going to hurt you as much beating up you. I'm probably going to hurt you more beating up the person that you care about over me. And that's just a mindset. I'm not saying it's right, but I get it.
And I mean, and I've always said, if I was in that scenario, whoever I was with would have a black eye, a blue lip. Bahamas, good to see you. Like, it was, okay, there it is.
I'm just saying.
And so we see
I'm not agreeing with it, but I get it.
We see that theme play out all the time, right? But so what happens is, let's forget that scenario. In a normal situation, there's a tendency by the betrayed spouse to demonize, to vilify, to make the affair person a wretched, horrible human being and soul for what they did. And so what happens with that, whether upon first, acknowledging what happened, several weeks in, several months in, several years in, it's almost like that person is renamed, right? That skank, that whore, that home wrecker, like, they can't have a name. Like, they've got to be dehumanized, and they've got to be given another name, and the unfaithful spouse has to weigh in and co-sign whatever that name is. But what typically happens is the unfaithful partner will defend or at least it comes across as they're defending that affair partner by now saying, that's not who she is, that's not what she does,
Don't do that.
that's not what she's about, she's actually a good person, it's not her fault. And so they get sucked into this defensive, what's the word? They get sucked into defending the affair partner, which is the worst thing
to do.
that you can ever do.
Right.
But somehow they continue to do it, and so now it's a further betrayal for the betrayed spouse, because they feel, oh, so you protecting her now?
Right.
You're defending him now, and it creates a whole lot of
At
problems.
the end of the day, it could be true that the person is a good person. Maybe they completely lied to this person. Maybe they were completely unaware that this person was married. That happens quite often. So they were blindsided too, right? Or maybe they are all those things. Maybe they were completely aware. They knew who you were. Maybe they were your best friend, related family, knew all about the fact that this person was married and stepped out and did it anyway. So some of those insults are actually irrelevant. It doesn't matter. You do not defend the affair partner. Whether your spouse is hurling insults that are true or not, zip it. It's better to say nothing than to say something and be a fool.
Yes.
And it's just going to ignite the flame of fury when you start defending that affair partner, especially if you're trying to be on the path to recovery.
And so here's the other piece, because there are many individuals who, every time that person comes up, there's hatred and vitriol and disdain, and they loathe that affair partner. And so in your recovery process, you've got to get to a point where you release that toxicity that you have within you, because guess what? It's in you.
Yes.
So that toxicity isn't affecting the affair partner, because they don't know when you're thinking about them. They don't know when you're calling them out. They don't know anything, but you know. Your body knows, your soul, your mind, your spirit, all of you know, and you're the one being affected by holding on to that stuff.
Right, and after a while, who's bringing it up? It's you. It's the hurt partner that's bringing it up, because the person that was unfaithful is trying to get as far away from that as possible. They don't want to bring it up. They're tired of talking about it. They wish you'd forget about it. So it's really you bringing it up, and at some point, it's got to be you that releases that person. Sometimes we have to go through a forgiveness process, not just for our spouse, but to that affair partner, because you're holding so much anger, and Hassani said it, vitriol, for somebody who you potentially have never met. The idea of that person is causing you to have anger and resentment and bitterness, and you got to get that out.
You know, Lakeisha Hines, who's one of our practitioners, when we do our Last Chance Weekend, I remember her sharing a story about how she had to forgive the affair partner and the process that she went through. And guys, like, I remember there was a client that we had that literally wrote, hear me now, literally wrote the affair partner a forgiveness letter.
Do it if you got to.
She wrote, the betrayed spouse created a forgiveness letter and gave it to the affair partner. Wow. Now that, I mean, that level of release and forgiveness.
That's how you get set free.
Oh,
that's how
God.
that is
Without a
supernatural.
shadow of a
There is
doubt.
nothing human and normal about that. You need the spirit in order to do that, but that is a breakthrough moment to be able to release that and let that person go. And obviously the person that did that needed that for them, because they were, their spouse was probably doing all the right things and walking the walk, right? But they were stuck because they needed to offer forgiveness.
But I want the unfaithful partner to hold on to the point. Don't get lost in what we're saying to the betrayed spouse. If you're the unfaithful partner, do not ever form your lips to defend the affair partner, because it's just going to create a situation. All right, let's go to the second one. Number 2, one of the big mistakes that unfaithful partners make, avoiding talking about your partner's feelings. Now, we talked about this a little bit, how oftentimes the betrayed spouse is having a whole lot of internal dialogue, a lot of conversations with him or herself, and probably in terms of proportions, or if that's the correct word, in terms of ratios, they're having more internal conversations with themselves than they are with you. So when they have a desire or they're driven to share with you, you have to create space to hear them talk. When you shut them down, when you just move on, it creates a whole lot of problems. And a lot of times the unfaithful partner doesn't want to have the conversation is because they're trapped in their own shame, and they're thinking about their own feelings and what it's doing to them. So this is why many people say you have to graduate from shame to guilt. Because as long as you're in shame, you're thinking about you. But when you are in guilt, you're thinking about the other person. And they need healing, and they need to hear from you as they pour out about what's going on with them. It's almost like, I've got to release this stuff. Now, I can do it in a negative, toxic way, or I can do it in a healthy way. I need somebody to talk to. And because you were involved in this, I need to talk to you. I need you to hear me. I need you to understand. I need you to acknowledge what it is that I'm going through, because that will help you heal. As difficult as those conversations may be, as many as those conversations may ultimately wind up being, it is a part of the healing process for the betrayed spouse. So you have to give time and attention to that situation.
That's real talk. And for the person that has to sit there and deal with the spouse that just needs to talk about your shortcomings, that is a difficult place to be in. That's something that you want to bring into your therapy session so that you can work it out and know how to be and act. Because it's triggering when somebody has to talk to you about your failures, right? All of your self-worth comes up. The fact that you made these bad decisions, you feel the shame, you feel the guilt. And to Hassani's point, if you're still feeling that shame and that guilt, that means that you have not experienced exoneration. And it might not be because of your spouse. It could be that you have not forgiven yourself, which is also a part of this journey. Because when you have experienced true exoneration, you don't feel the shame. You don't feel the guilt. You could talk all day long, in and out, every detail, because you're free. And you can offer your spouse something that they truly need, which is closure, over and over again sometimes about certain parts of the conversation that were never really dealt with. So that's work for you to do. Find a counselor, somebody support you. And if you don't have somebody, you can always reach out to Couples Academy. It's what we do all day long, twice on Sunday.
We're talking about the 10 big mistakes that the unfaithful partner makes. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Check this out.
Y'all don't judge us, okay? This is a family show, and we got family up in here, and I had to use the restroom. I ran off, and Maddie was cracking up at me. I didn't know we were at a pause. So if y'all hear background stuff, listen, Hassani the other day left the whole podcast running, right? Things happen. This is a family show, so, you know.
Let's get back to the topic. We're talking about the 10 big mistakes that the unfaithful partner
guys.
makes. Let's go to the next one. This is a big one, guys.
Point out the flaws of your partner. Did I just do that?
Yes. Yes, in front of all to see, and this is what I deal with when the cameras aren't on. But see, this is the challenge here.
You see what he did?
See what I'm saying? We doing it. We're just giving you examples of how this shows up in relationships where you're constantly pointing out the flaws. And what happens is when you're dealing with a betrayal, oftentimes the unfaithful partner brings up all the issues, all the problems, all the challenges, all the idiosyncrasies in a particular person, and it either can come across like you're now blaming your partner for the affair, you're justifying the affair, or maybe it doesn't, you don't have to interpret that they're doing it because they're flat out telling you the reason why I did such and such and thus and so is because you this, that, and the other. And it's just like, Joker, what?
Right. It is never I can't hear. It is never her partner's fault. Period. And I think there's a transition that has to happen because ultimately, when you're in that state of being where you're being unfaithful, before you've had a mindset shift, right? You are constantly justifying your actions. So you're always justifying why you're doing this. You actually have to, because you're out there doing something diabolical. You're actually out there doing something that you would not want done to you. So it's a character flaw. It's a character issue. So if you're still living in that place of blame, you're never going to have the transformation that you need to acknowledge that it is you. The enemy is enemy. I'm always saying this. We're always saying this. Your partner really isn't your problem. You are your problem. But what people do is they transition the focus towards the other person so that they can feel better about the decisions that they're making, so that they can justify the decisions that they're making. But when you get to that point, and that's a lot of what takes place during the Last Chance weekend, we do a lot of mindset shifting. When we say it's intense, we are not playing, okay? There's a lot of mindset shifting that takes place to get a person to acknowledge and understand, wow, I have some serious growth that needs to happen. I really need to work on me. And that's when the shift takes place.
Without a shadow of a doubt. So God, you cannot blame your partner. But let me just hit one more point, because I recently had a discovery call with a couple, and the husband was just like, I watched your video, and one thing that you said that I totally disagreed with is that, it's the betrayed spouse had nothing to do with my affair. And I don't agree with that. And so I said, well, you know what? I think it would be fair for you to listen to a number of our videos to get a more comprehensive understanding. But let me unpack what that means. And I've said it to you before, but sometimes we need to hear it again and again and again. We're not saying that the betrayed spouse is innocent of any and all. We're not saying that the betrayed spouse doesn't have issues, faults, flaws, bad behavior, just baggage, just stuff that he or she needs to deal with. That stuff, whatever it is, whether it's verbal, whether it's financial, whether it's an emotional shutdown, whether it's a physical thing, whatever it is, that creates pressure in the relationship. And both partners contribute to that pressure, contribute to the challenges. Now, the way that I deal with that pressure, I have to take 100% ownership of. And so if the way that I deal with that pressure is I go out and have an affair, I've got to take responsibility for my reaction, to what's happening in the dynamic of our relationship. Because another person may respond differently. It may not be an affair. And so pressure forces out of you oftentimes what is already in you. True. Because when we do the work, when we unpack things, not all the time, but usually if an affair has occurred, it may have occurred in the past. Now, it may have occurred within that relationship. It may have occurred in another relationship prior to the one that you're in, but it may not be the first time that has happened. Now, for those that is your experience, okay, we can unpack other things. But usually there are influences and factors that have nothing to do with your spouse that cause you to go down that particular path. And it all comes out in these counseling sessions. So it's not so cut and dry, so simple to say, you're the reason why I did that. So now blaming your partner for your decision is not healthy for you. It's not healthy for the betrayed partner. It just sets them back. It creates more of a disconnect in the relationship, and it's just, you just got to move on from that. All right, let's go to the next point. This is a big one, a big mistake that the unfaithful partner makes. They continue to tell lies.
All bets are off.
And here's the thing, not only are you, for those that they're guilty of this, not only are they continuing to lie about the affair, and see, this is an insult to the betrayed partner's intelligence, because they know, especially yesterday when we were talking about how oftentimes the betrayed spouse has all the facts, they know everything, but they're waiting for you to say it. And even with proof and evidence, and I've showed it to you, you still lie.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Just wow.
you can't make this stuff up. But
at the same time, you'll say, "But you should trust me. Trust me. I'm not doing anything. That was in the past." But you keep lying.
You keep lying. You keep demonstrating behaviors today that you were engaged in when you were in the affair. So how could I believe you? How could you even be bold enough and audacious enough to even ask me to trust you when you just lied 2 minutes ago? And fine, maybe you're not lying about the affair. All that has come out, but you lying about other stuff, just stuff that don't mean nothing. You lying about basic stuff. And in my mind, as the betrayed spouse, if you will lie about something so trivial that means nothing, you will certainly lie when it comes to an offense like an affair. So I don't trust you. I can't believe you, and you continue to set me back and keep me in a dark place. Now that is a bomb for you. So I'm telling you, if you're the individual, you're engaging in half-truths, omission of truth, giving a false impression, deception, being clandestine, whatever, secretive, whatever you want, you're harming your spouse and your relationship.
And some of you just need a new philosophy, because some of you actually believe, like, you lie until the death. Take all your truths to the grave. Some of you actually believe that by telling the truth, it's going to do more harm than more good. But I'm here to tell you, no, brother and sister, when you tell the truth, it's like freedom. It's like finally being able to take a big breath of fresh air. Matter of fact, last chance week and last time, someone actually said that. Like, they walked into, actually, full disclosure, terrified, worried, concerned, scared. Like, this is it. It's all about to fall apart now. Once they find out what happened, it's over. And then after, they were like I could breathe. They said they had the best sleep in years that night.
I don't mean to be gross.
Don't be.
Gross, but I'm just saying, have you ever eaten a meal like Christmas dinner, Thanksgiving dinner, and you were fully packed and you had to release? You know what I'm talking about. And boy, now you may have been in there for a while. But you finally released, and you just felt light. It was just like, oh my God, that was the best thing ever. And you got,
I'm a visual, imaginative person. I really didn't need the image in my head.
You got all of that waste out of you, and you just felt lighter.
The relief, the light.
Literally, we have a dog. His name is Onyx, and when we take him on a walk, like literally every time that he poops, he runs right after.
Yeah, he's got
he's got all this energy.
He's got pep in his step.
Like,
he's so happy.
I gotta pick this stuff up first. Come on, slow down. But like, he has more energy, and oftentimes when you release what you've been holding on to, you feel lighter, you feel free. To your point, you get the best sleep that you've ever had. The connection is restored. It's just an amazing, amazing thing. All right, let's go to the next one. Another big mistake, not answering all of your partner's questions, whatever your reason or justification is. Listen, we've been going at this. We've had 1,000 conversations, and you still won't answer the question. What you're doing, you're creating more suspicion in your partner, and you're giving them a reason and a justification to not believe anything that you've answered, because you're holding on to truths that you don't want to reveal. Whatever your reason is, you've got to tell all. And all you're doing is you're further delaying the process, and it's keeping them trapped in their pain and just not worth it.
Hold on, I got something to say about that, but I was reading. not answering all your partner's questions, y'all. Full disclosure. And here's the deal. Depending on your personality style, depending on the personality style of your partner, will determine the level of full disclosure that is necessary. Full disclosure is necessary, like all the truth needs to come out, but some people really don't need to know every single intricate detail of what happened second by second, moment by moment. Other personalities do. And if you're married to somebody who is a full disclosure, open book type of person, if you truly want to restore that marriage, if you really want to go in the right direction of restoring trust, which is lost in buckets and gained in drops, then you are going to have to tell it all and answer all the questions as fully as you know. And some people actually need help understanding their own why. Sometimes your spouse is asking you questions that you don't have the answer to. You don't know why that you did it, and you need support helping you unearth your own why so that you could give to them the closure that they need.
There's nothing else to say.
You could drop the bomb. Boom.
That was it. That was a bomb drop. That was a mic drop. Listen, guys, we've got one more point. Listen, one of the biggest mistakes that the unfaithful partner makes is not keeping your agreements to your spouse. I just had this situation in a session last night. It's just like you make these promises and then you act as if you never said what you said, or you completely renege on what you said, and this is the reason why. And what that does, guys, it creates instability, insecurity in your relationship. It becomes fragmented when you do that. Because if you'll break your promise about this and break your promise about that and break your promise about that, it's showing that you don't have character and integrity. Because that's what it is. Because there should be no separation between your words and your deeds. Right. And truth be told, I struggle with that. I would say, yeah, we're gonna do this, and yeah, we're gonna make that happen, and then nothing would happen. So disappointment, broken promise, and then it didn't matter. Nothing became believable. I had to make sure that I had to, in my mind, make a serious determination that I was going to do something before I spoke to it. Because if I said something to Danielle, if I said something to the kids and then forgot, it's just like, you said that, and I'm just like, I ain't said that. Yes, you did. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. No, I did not. You remember that scene?
Yeah.
That was from Coming to America when some of you remember that.
I don't remember that.
But see, that's what happened. And I had to increase my level of integrity to do what I said I was going to do.
But I want to say there's a difference between, forgetting, like you're saying, or being too busy, like overcommitting. That's what that is, overcommitting yourself to something. But it's different when you are malicious with it, Like if I am committing to doing, first of all, you've already broken the ultimate agreement, which is the covenant of your marriage. So if you've broken the ultimate agreement, the covenant between you, your wife, and God, and I'm trying to forgive you through that, and we make new agreements to move forward, and you break those agreements, where are we going? What does my future look like with you? You have broken the ultimate agreement. I've forgiven you of that. We've established new agreements to move forward, and you're breaking those. So we have nowhere to go. So don't overcommit. Make commitments that you can actually live up to.
Absolutely.
One thing this might sound crazy, and I know we got to go. This might sound crazy, but when people come here and say things like, nope, I am not going to be able to offer you a closed, committed marriage. Sorry. I respect that. I respect that, rather than you come here and continue to lie and tell your spouse that you're going to do something that you know good and well you're never going to do. At the same time, sometimes you have great intentions and you don't know how you're going to do, but at least making the commitment to try to do, and then getting the support to guide you through a process that will allow you to do. But don't keep lying. Don't keep breaking the commitments that you've made to your spouse. You've done it already, and they're still standing by your side. Now it is time, as you said, to up-level your integrity and be the type of man and woman that says what you're going to do and do what you say, period.
That's our show, guys.
That's the Couples Academy show.
That is our show. 10 big mistakes that the unfaithful partner makes. We love you. We hope you got something out of it. I want you to replay this. I want you to share this. I want you to sit down with your spouse if you've experienced an affair and you're in the recovery process. Listen, drink from the same well together. Hear from us. Because if you do, it can make a difference for your life and your marriage. Love you guys. See you in the morning
Bye, guys.
for another great episode. Take care.